Hello everyone, this is Gary from iFood Test channel. Let's learn together to become a full stack tester. In this video, I'm going to detail the API buy an auction using buy now and how to script the corresponding testing script. Let's start. The API means buy an item using buy now. The key request fields are as below. The HTTP method is post and it needs authentication. We choose to set the request field listing ID with dynamic data, which correlates from the upstream API general research response. And we also choose to set the request field shipping option with dynamic data, which correlates from another upstream API retrieve the details of a single listing response. The key response fields are as below. We check through the fields of success and status code from the response. Also through the fields of listing ID and purchase ID from another upstream API, retrieve your one item's response to prove the final status of our current transaction. This is example request and response. Let's do the scripting work. See, the request is as below. This API needs authentication, so fill in authentication information first. How to get authentication related fields? Please refer to the first video of this series. Then we assemble the main API request. Because this is a post request, we choose to assemble the request body here. And field single listing ID is correlated from the response of upstream API general search. See here. And another request field, shipping ID, is correlated from the response of upstream API, retrieve the details of single listing. See here. The final step is to code the post script to check the final status of this transaction. First, check directly from a response of the main API through the fields of success and the successful status code, and save the response field purchase ID to an environmental variable. Second, loop check from the response of upstream API, retrieve your one items through listing ID and purchase ID. If the value of these two fields is equal to the corresponding value of the saved environmental variables, which are from the response of our main API and another upstream API, general search, we mark this transaction as passed. Otherwise, we mark it as failed. Here we need to notice that our main API is asynchronous, which makes you unable to receive a response simultaneously. So I set a timeout for waiting to respond based on its history maximum time received the response. Now to quickly show you the result, I temporarily disabled the timeout setting. But you could keep this in mind when you need to handle an asynchronous response. To now, we get 5 APIs chained together to be full transaction combinations. We could sequentially run these 5 APIs to check the effect, and we can check from the front-end UI page details first to see the initial status before running these APIs. See, initially we have 3 items on the 1 items list. Run the first API. Yes, we got 3 items total count for this status. Run the second API. We removed all the items on the 1 items list. Run the third API and fourth API. We randomly pick 1 item waiting to be bought. Run the final API, we complete the buying process. Turn to check on the front-end page, we get a corresponding item on the 1 items list. You could continue to enhance the script, such as parameterization, and extend negative testing cases to cover as much of the business scope as possible. To now, we have gone through the API details, so let me wrap up this video. First, we assemble the main API with the authentication information. Second, we check the API key response field and another API's key response field to prove the transaction passed. Third, try to enhance the script such as parameterization and negative cases coding. Fourth, we check the initial status on the front-end pages. Finally, we separately run 5 APIs to check the transaction combinations worked. We have finished the coding for the 10 typical APIs we picked. The next video will detail 2 ways of running the Postman collections to show you the whole testing process. If you like this video or series, don't forget to click subscribe. Your encouragement would be my motivation to publish full-stack testing related practices continuously. See you next time.